Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. So I have seen lately, a general lack of humility among a lot of people who work in gaming as a whole. So you see in terms of games journalists think they are arbiters of truth and morality. And we've seen issues where people try to dox people calling themselves games journalists, try to get people banned, deplatformed, silenced, all that other stuff, and then eventually, making a foolery of themselves because they've decided to superimpose their own selves, whom they are not the bastions of any kind of moral standards. There's only perfect person is God, if that's the case, and that is the case. But then you also look at, something in terms of some gaming developers and their attitude towards gamers because they have this so-called godlike complex. Now, I'm not going to mention any names. I don't care to mention any names. I don't know what anybody else is thinking, but a developer from somewhere, and this is not one of our developers, by the way, in the Division 2. So that's why I'm making sure that I put it out there as vague information, but it is not one of our Division 2 developers. Now, this developer mentioned something along the lines of, just because people are professional gamers doesn't mean they understand more about a game than the developers. And, feedback is usually along the lines of this and this and that and this and that. Now, a lot of people pushed back on that ideology. Some people supported it. Some people said things like, oh, yeah, because I've been sitting on this chair, I am now, an expert in wood crafting, just kind of, making these little weird arguments. Now, I'm not a professional at, categorizing arguments. I don't really know all that kind of stuff, but I feel like it dismisses the fact that there is valuable feedback that comes to you as a creator of any kind. Now, largely our work on YouTube as content creators is easy compared to developing a game. I mean, are you kidding me? It's miles easy. All we do is just sit here and talk, and, we go edit our videos and all that good stuff. Now, when it comes to game development and game design, that is very, very difficult. But nonetheless, there is value in looking at things from another perspective every time. There's never been a time that taking another perspective and looking at it at least has not provided some values. In fact, they always tell people, go learn the other argument so that you're capable of countering that argument and you're capable of seeing where its weaknesses are. And so I think this sentiment resounds in the industry a lot, and we see it. Now, even though this developer was not a Division developer of any kind that I know, I think that we've seen these kinds of things even show up in, the Division 2. It's not in terms of the design where all feedback that's given seems ignored, because I can almost guarantee you that somewhere in those studios, they say, oh, well, this worked out for the gamers at this point, but we choose to go this direction because we feel it is best for the players. And what you get is products that, are not satisfactory. Now, many people don't understand the general impact of this. Like, game developers, you're experts in your field. No one is trying to take that away from you in a sense. But the truth is, you don't know everything. An expert doesn't mean a know-it-all. An expert is somebody that is actually willing to learn. I think, in my opinion, an expert is somebody that's willing to acquire new ideas and acquire them as quickly as possible and apply them as quickly as possible. But usually, if game developers have this attitude of, we know best, then they can't learn anything else. And then they'll be stuck in their old ways. And then they'll cause more of a destruction of their own product than they do to actually help it. On the game developer, gamer side, things seem really bantery. Like, oh, this game is not good here. These things aren't good. But many people, the developers included, don't see things from the big picture, which is the financial side of things. The developer is sitting in a studio where somebody has given them some work to do, and they're doing it. Somebody has said, hey, I want you to do these specific set of tasks. They get it done. Many, not all, but many developers are not looking at things from a huge financial perspective, like the health and the 10-year plan of what it is to actually start developing, to develop a game, market the game, and sell the game. Because very soon, what you're going to see is indie developers are going to be making video games that look just as good or even better than AAA games. Why? The technology landscape is changing. All the so-called ideas that developers feel they know is better for gamers when in reality it's not, indie developers, this is AAA developers by the way, indie developers are taking that feedback and are going out of their way to actually make these changes, to actually make these decisions that are pleasing to gamers. And so before you know what's happening, the AAA gaming space is going to start to receive a very huge competition because of what gaming is now becoming. I've been looking at some of these trends, and right now, the trend that will be started is providing individuals the ability to make their own games at the very basic and casual level. In February, the game, or whatever it is, it's called Dreams, is going to be coming out to PlayStation 4. This is just a basic example where you can create for yourself worlds, environments, games as it was promised and as it was shown a while ago. And I think when this shows up, this is going to be a huge problem because this is going to start a trend for just casual gamers on their controllers. Now, you may say, well, there's a lot more that goes into gaming. This is true, but there are trends that show that if this starts to be the trend, you're going to have to really do a huge work to sustain yourself as a AAA gaming company. Because if you don't really look at what's going on, the regular Joe is going to be making his own game. In fact, right now, there's a game that's in early access on PC. It's called This Is My Land. It is a game about a Native American who, it's a Native American person who's just exploring the land. I don't really know all what it's about. It has a very nice open world map and everything. And it's made by an indie gaming company. This game is so beautiful. When you look at a video of this game, it reminds you straight up of Horizon Zero Dawn. I mean, a small development team can put a game like this in place compared to like a studio like Guerrilla. Now, I'm not saying Guerrilla is like a huge studio, but they are Sony backed. And if another gaming company that doesn't have a huge publisher, huge platform backed is making a game like this to this level and this particular quality so far, it's an early access. So there are things that are still being made and worked on. What do you think the next 2 to 3 years is going to bring? Because for those of us who know, technology changes like just this instant that I just said, technology changes. And so when we look at things, we have to look at the bigger picture, which I think is the financial ramifications, which is what supports these developers to do their work. So if developers are having godlike complexes and feel like they have nothing to learn, in some cases, not in every case, then they are at risk of not having any so-called company to sit in at a desk and get their jobs done. So what I'm saying is this: game designers and game developers need to learn to just listen and be humble. You see, humility is going to take you far. CD Projekt Red, the one thing that they actually put out there is that they are a studio that's willing to be humble and listen to their community, respect their community. They're getting movie deals. I mean, goodness. And the movie deals are based on the games, because I know the Witcher books may be popular, but the Witcher games definitely, in my opinion, I can't say with any data, but in my opinion, the Witcher games are widely popular to the point that I had to know about the game first before I knew that there actually was literature behind the game. So what does that tell you? You have to understand that there is a very huge opportunity in gaming, but those that are going to seize the opportunity are those that are going to be able to listen to their community members. Now, I'm not a financial expert, not a financial analyst, but I've been reading what the financial analysts are saying. And the financial analysts know these gaming companies in and out because of their release of their software. You see, many people say things, these gaming developers say things like, gamers don't really know, what they want and stuff like that. In some cases, I agree. Yes, downright gamers, sometimes we don't know what we want. But largely, some people have been playing games for decades. Sure, they may not know what they want every time, but having seen successful aspects of games over those years, you want to tell me that there is nothing valuable that they can give to young developers? Because some gamers are older than the developers. They saw video games when they first started, when at the core of video games, it was about fun before microtransactions and deadlines started to eat up the marketplace. And so the financial experts have analyses. Go to motleyfool.com and just type in your biggest publisher or developer, and you want to see what financial analysts know about these gaming developers. They know them. EA, they know EA in and out. They know Ubisoft in and out. Activision, Rockstar, they know everything that's happening. They know updates and patches. They know broken mechanics in the games because all the information is out there on YouTube. They have people sitting there and playing the games and saying, how does this game provide value? How does this game provide monetization and incentivizes investors? To the game developer and the game designer out there, you may be an expert in your field. That's fine. But to be honest, you don't know it all. And even as a content creator on YouTube, I get comments all the time that I want to respond with, why don't you go make your own YouTube video and see if you'll do it better? And sometimes I actually have responded. I have to be honest, because sometimes it can be aggravating putting in a lot of work and it looking like it's being underappreciated. But at the same time, you also have to remind yourself and say, you know, I might be wrong. There is a 100% possibility that you are wrong. Sorry, like a 99.937 possibility that you're wrong. And do you want to take that chance with like point something, rather than just look at where somebody is giving you very good feedback and make adjustments? So hopefully this attitude would change. And if it doesn't, no worries. The indie companies are coming. They're coming for your fan base. So for those gaming development teams that ignore their fan bases, you better watch out. Somebody else will take them. All right, that's pretty much it for me. I'll get out of y'all's hair. Thank you very much for your time and audience, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.